Judge Luttig, there are, of course, screams and screeches from the Trump right talking about how this is a left-wing assault on a conservative presidential candidate. This is, of course, a Federalist, two Federalist Society scholars, highly respected, who have written this theory, and you yourself see this court ruling as a legitimate court ruling. Walk us through it and talk about why you think it was a brilliant court ruling.
Thank you, Joe and Mika, for having me on with you this morning. As our country's preeminent constitutional scholar, Lawrence Tribe, and I said in our August 2023 article in the Atlantic about the 14th Amendment, this is the most pressing constitutional question of our times, and it will be a test of America's commitment to its democracy, to its Constitution, and to the rule of law, for all the reasons that are coming to the forefront this morning, Joe and Mika. Yesterday's decision, as Mika said, was a historic constitutional decision. Arguably, when it's decided by the Supreme Court, it will be the single most important constitutional decision in all of our history. Yesterday's decision by the Colorado Supreme Court was masterful. It was brilliant. And it is an unassailable interpretation of the 14th Amendment, Section 3's disqualification clause, and an unassailable decision that the former president is disqualified from the presidency because he engaged in, or aided or supported an insurrection or rebellion against the United States Constitution. Right. In the course of holding what it did, it reversed the lower court decision on whether Section 3 of the 14th Amendment applied to presidents of the United States. The lower court had held that it did not, but the court yesterday affirmed the central holding of the lower court that the former president had in fact engaged in an insurrection or rebellion against the Constitution of the United States. On that former point, this court held correctly and unquestionably correctly that the presidency is an office under the United States, that the president is an officer of the United States, and that he takes an oath to support the Constitution of the United States when he takes the presidential oath prescribed by the Constitution.
So, Judge, Walter Isaacson is concerned about the precedent that this ruling might set. What would you say to other Americans who may not be supportive of Donald Trump's candidacy that are concerned that this takes something out of the voters' hands and places it in the hands of unelected judges to decide who's fit to run for office and who is not?
Joe, I understand that first instinct, if you will, but what I would say to all Americans is that the Constitution itself has determined that the disqualification of the former president is not what is anti-democratic. Rather, the Constitution tells us that it is the conduct that can give rise to disqualification under the 14th Amendment that is anti-democratic. So in other words, the people of America, through their Constitution and the 14th Amendment in particular, have decided that disqualification is not anti-democratic. So the 14th Amendment, Section 3 disqualification clause is probably the most democratic provision in our entire Constitution.